In this video, we are going to discuss about XML schema. According to dictionary, schema stands for a structured framework, or I can say a plan. We have seen already this DTD. DTD is a form of XML schema. Okay, so it's like a framework or a plan. According to this plan, XML document is going to design, or the XML structure is defined according to this plan. That is mean by this. Coming to the XML schema, according to W3C, it's XML schema definitions. The short form of XML schema definition is XSD. The purpose of this XSD is to define the legal building blocks of XML document. Let's look at why we need to learn another language like XML schema to define the legal building blocks of XML, though we know DTD already. So in fact in DTD it's a weak specification language. We cannot put restrictions over the text, like you cannot say this text should be something like a email, like a pattern, or the length of the string should be this much, minimum length should be this much. We can't put such kind of constraints. Of course we cannot say the value should be something like a rounded number or a decimal number, all this stuff. And if you see that the mixed data, mixed content, we have little control over that in the case of DTD, but XML schema has full control over the mixed content. And coming to the order of occurrence, there is no control over the order of occurrence of these XML elements in the case of DTD. Okay, in the case of XSD, yes, we can control the order of occurrence of those elements. In fact, DTDs are written in a non-XML format or in a strange format. Okay, it's like a new language for us. We have to learn one more language in order to control the structure of XML, correct? And of course, we need a separate parser to parse the DTD as well as XML. So we need two parsers in the case of DTD. One is to parse the XML document, to parse the content of it. Another one is to parse the DTD so that we came to know the structure of this. And coming to the XML schema definition language, probably it addresses all these issues. Like it gives more control over the structure and the content. And of course, it is written in the XML. That's the beauty part of this XML schema definitions. And XML schema and DTD, if you compare, okay, XML schemas are extensible to future editions, and of course it is rich and more powerful than DTD. XSDs are written in XML, and XSD support different data types like integer, string, decimal, date, time, etc. And of course it supports the namespace. These are all the benefits you will get when you learn XML schema. Okay, of course these are all the benefits when you compare with DTD. And referring to the schema, so in the XML document, if you observe, in DTD we have written a separate line like doc type, root element, system, and then URL. So if you observe this, in between the prologue and the root element, there is something called doc type, root element, system, the path where you have that DTD file. Whereas in the case of XML schema, we don't have such kind of line, but within the root element we are going to specify two things. One is like XML schema instance, another one is XML schema location. Okay, like XML namespace colon XSI equal to this path. This XSI is like an instance. Okay, it's like an object of the class called w3.org/2000/ URI. Okay, and here we have one more attribute called no namespace schema location. It tells the XML document where that XSD exists to define the legal building blocks of this particular XML file. Okay, so this is what we need to do with the XML document. Coming to the XSD document, as I said, XSD is also defined in XML. So sometimes you might get confusing what to do which document, right? So that's why I said very clearly you have to specify XML namespace and no namespace schema location in the XML. That part is over. Now coming to the XSD, every XSD document have a root element. Okay, that root element is schema. So we start with a prologue and there is a root element called schema. And the difference between the namespace what we use in the XML document to here is, here we don't write hyphen instance. That's one major difference. Yeah. And coming to the elements, probably in detail we have shown in this slide. Within this XML schema root element, we specify what is the namespace. And coming to these XML elements are divided into two categories. Or in the view of XSD, XML elements are two kinds. One is like simple elements, another one is like complex elements. When I say simple elements are the ones which cannot have attributes, which cannot contain other elements or children's, and of course which cannot be empty. These elements we usually call it as a simple element. Other than simple elements we call it as a complex elements. Of course the elements which have attributes or children or empty elements comes under this category. Let's look at how do we define the simple element. When you see that the definition of this, defining this simple element, it's an XML tag, access colon element and name of the tag. Let's say I am defining a person. Okay, access colon element, name equal to first name, type equal to access colon string. Okay, so I said already there are 6 different types of data types this XSD is going to support. Access colon boolean, date, decimal, integer, string, time. And along with this definition, you can also put something called default value and fixed value. Hope everyone knows what is mean by this default and fixed values. Default value means that in the absence of that value, you can use this default value. Fixed value means that no matter what value they are going to use, this must be there, or this is the fixed value that we use for this particular element. That is mean by fixed value. Let's look at how do we define an attribute. In fact, attribute is also a simple type, no? Attribute alone is a simple type, but the element which carries this attribute is actually a complex element. So when you go for defining the attribute, we write like this: access colon attribute, name of the attribute equal to name, that whatever it is, and then data type. And the next option, along with this attribute declaration, you can specify default value for that attribute, or you can specify some fixed value, or you can say something like it's an optional attribute or it's a mandate attribute. When you type use equal to optional at the end of this definition of attribute, no doubt it's like a optional, where the attribute may or may not contain in the XML document. When I say use equal to required, means that attribute must be present. Coming to the restrictions, you can impose restrictions over the elements in so many ways. Okay, let's have a look on this. What kind of restrictions do we put? Okay, how do we add these restrictions to the elements? Let's have a look. Here, the general form of putting restrictions over the text is something like this: access colon element, on which element you want to put the restriction that you need to specify. Then access colon restriction base equal to the data type of that element, and whatever restrictions you want to put, you have to write it within this restriction tag. Let's look at what restrictions can we impose in the case of integer values. Okay, so these are all the restrictions that we can adopt in the XSD if integer values exist. Minimum inclusive, is like greater than or equal to, minimum exclusive greater than, maximum inclusive less than or equal, maximum exclusive is less than. And total digits is like, exactly how many digits that the number should have. Fraction digits means that the number of digits that the decimal point should contain. Okay, these are all the restrictions where you can use it for controlling the numbers when you write it in a XML. Say for earlier example we have shown here, a should be in between 0 to 140. The age of the person should be greater than or equal to 0, because minimum inclusive we use, not exclusive. That's why age is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 140. We use inclusive here, that's why the age value is considered from 0 to 140, including 0 and 140. If you use this exclusive, that time other than 0 and 140, in between these two values will be considered. Coming to the string, you can put restrictions over the string by saying exactly this much length should have. This string should have this much length, or minimum length of the string should be this much, maximum length of the string should be this much, or some sort of pattern. Pattern means that, in AWK, maybe in the Linux you may learn about this. If you want to specify, the string should contain something like @ something like dot in this pattern, or else this string should contain A to Z lowercase, capital A to Z, and some numbers from 0 to 9. Like that, you want to specify some pattern for a string, yes, you can with the help of this. And regarding the white spaces, you can control or you can put restrictions over the white spaces by saying the white spaces should be preserved as it is, should be replaced with a separate character, or it should be collapsed and only one space must be available. So these kind of restrictions you can impose in the case of strings. And of course, enumeration restricts the value to be one of the fixed set of values. Like, when I say this element should be like a season, right? If you take the best example, season. Season is a simple element. Here if you observe, xs element name equal to season, simply you can type equal to xs colon string. But guess what? We are supposed to put restriction over there. That's why we said it's a simple type, and restriction on this is base is xs colon string, enumeration is spring, summer, autumn, fall, winter. This is how we can define put the restriction over the string elements. Okay, coming to complex elements, defining complex elements is so easy. Okay, if you see the complex element, we used to start with xs element, name of the element, and you are supposed to write xs colon complex type. Okay, within this open closed complex type tag, we are supposed to write the children's. Okay, if the complex element have some children elements, so where the children elements are simple, then we define like this. Okay, here xs colon sequence is one which restricts or which controls the order of occurrence of these particular elements. The complex element person should have two children's, one is like first name, another one is like last name. It must occur or it must appear in the XML document. First is the first name, last is the second name. Okay, and then coming to the global local definitions, when you want to define a particular, what do we say, XML elements, and you want to make use of those declarations later, yes, you can with the help of global and local declarations. Okay, at the top of the XML document we do it, at the top of this XSD document we define whatever is required, and we can make use of that type in our later definitions. Here is the example for that. Okay, every person has some first name and last name. We define this. Of course, When you define the student or a professor, probably we define like this: access element name equal to student, type equal to person. Yeah, what else you want to add? You can add it later. Then scope differentiate whether it is local or global. And sequence, we already spoke about it. The order of occurrence of these elements can be controlled by sequence. If you don't want to impose such kind of order of restriction on the order of occurrence, you can simply say access colon all. So in any of the order these elements may appear in the XML document. No, it may appear in any order, and minimum occurrence, maximum occurrence that you can impose in this particular what do we say in this particular elements. Simply you can write min occurs equal to some integer value, max occur equal to some integer value. And referencing, there is a little bit difference between reference to the global declarations. Okay, reference is something that we are referring some other element, some other complex element which is there in the same document, okay, or within the same tags. Whereas global declaration, local declaration have some scope. Okay, we are going to define it somewhere. Empty element actually is a complex element. When you define this empty element, you can say simply complex type name equal to so and so, and within that it contains some sort of complex content. We are telling the attribute and attribute data type. Access extension base equal to access colon any type. This is one simple example where you can define these empty elements. And in the case of mixed element, no, you have to say mixed equal to true in the complex type itself. Okay, access colon complex type name equal to paragraph mixed equal to true. Then whatever you want to write within that you can write. And finally, extensions. Extensions are something that you can extend the meaning of the element by the help of the attribute. In the case of attributes, usually we write this, we use this access extension base equal to other type, and we define whatever we define. Okay, so we'll have an example on how to make use of this extension. There are some predefined strings like access colon string. We have something called access colon normalized string. We have something called access colon token. Hope everyone knows this normalized string. A normalized string is the one which doesn't contain any tab space, new line, caret returns and all. Token is something that it does not contain any white space other than a single space. Okay, these are all the different predefined string types available in XSD. And predefined date and times, access colon date, access colon time, access colon date and time. These are all the predefined data types that we have in XSD. And of course you can put restriction over these date and times, like enumeration, min inclusive, max inclusive, max exclusive, pattern, white space, etc. Let's look at a simple example on how to write the XSD. Let me write a simple XML file first. XML version equal to 1.0. After the prologue, I want to write a root element, mail, let's say to admin@gmail.com, and then to close some frame, and then body you can say test mail. Here I have written a simple XML document where it talks about mail. Here what I need to add is, you have to say XML ns equal to ns colon access equal to http://www.w3.org/2001/XML schema instance, and no namespace schema location equal to, in the same file or in the same path I want to store this. Let's say test.xsd. Okay, this is what we need to do with the mail. Then in another notepad I want to write the XSD document. So XSD start with a prologue, and then there is a root element. Root element is schema, XML namespace colon access equal to http://www.w3.org/2001/XML schema, and then close access colon schema tag. Within this we are going to define the elements of XML. So the first element is mail. So when I say mail, access element, name of the element is mail. Is the mail simple element? No, na. We have to write complex. It's a complex type. Access colon complex type. Access colon complex type. Close this. Within this you have to say access colon sequence, then close the sequence, and you have to define the simple elements what is there here. There is something called two element, access colon element, name of the element equal to 2, type of the element equal to string, access colon string, close the element. Like this we are going to define rest of the from and body. That's it. This is how we define the XML document. Okay, here it's a very simple program where it talks about how to find the XML document using XSD. Let me test it. So copy XML document first and then paste it here, and make sure that there is no XSD path, because all of them are given in a URL, no? So no need of specifying that. And copy this, paste it somewhere here, and click on valid XML. Yeah, it's fully valid. Like this you can test it. Suppose when you have an attribute, let's say body, body message equal to information. Yeah, this is what I have. Then to restrict this, let's look at how do we restrict this. How do we restrict and how do we define this? Of course, now body is not a simple element. You have to say access element. Within this, it's not a simple element, it's a complex element. Say it, access colon complex type, close this, access colon complex type, and of course you have to say something like access colon simple content, access colon simple content. Here I want to define access attribute. Name of the attribute is, what is the name? MSG. Type is what? type is access colon string. This is how we define. Okay, and the base of this particular element is access colon string. This is how we define it. Okay, now let's check this. And then as well this mail. Element attribute is invalid. Somewhere here we have to use. Access colon restriction, sorry. Restriction base equal to access colon string Yeah, here we write the body tag. Body tag has something called an attribute MSG. So when you say body tag, it's a complex type. That's why I specify it's a complex type. And then the content is simple. If I say body tag is having a data or a text whose data type is string. So for defining the data type of this particular element, we need simple content. We don't require complex content, right? That's why I put simple content and then extension base equal to access colon string. And then here I define the attribute. Let me run this. So hope everyone knows this, how to define an attribute. Access attribute, name of the attribute, data type of the attribute. Let me run this. This is how we can put the this is how we can define the elements as well as attributes. Suppose you want to put restriction. Let's say I want to put restriction over the from. Okay. So then what do we do generally? Within this element we say whatever restriction we want. Here access colon restriction and close this access colon restriction, and then base of this is access colon string. What restrictions do we put? Like if you see this, you can put enumeration, simple type, restriction base equal to access colon string, access colon enumeration, you can say the values. Okay, let's say element access colon simple type. It's a simple type, that's why we say it's a simple type, and within this we are going to put access colon enumeration. So any three of these values must be present there. So for this we can put restrictions like this. If it is integer, we all know we are just telling access element, name of the element, access colon simple type, access restriction base equal to access colon integer. Then you can write whatever restriction you want to impose on this particular element.